like to call to order the Reidsville City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. First item on the agenda will be invocation by Reverend Wes Pitts, pastor of First Presbyterian Church, 318 South Main Street, Reidsville.
Mayor Gorham and members of the Reidsville City Council, it is an honor to be here with you this evening to open your meeting and to give words of greeting on behalf of First Presbyterian Church. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, your word reminds us that we live, move, and have our being in you. So we come before you to seek your blessing on all that we do, as individuals, as a city government, as a community full of rich and beautiful diversity, as residents of this town, this state, this country, as beloved children of God. Help us to see that for our lives to flourish as we desire, we have to work for the flourishing of all lives. Help us to know that peace comes not through power over others, but by working together to ensure all have their needs met. Help us to prize the ideals of love, respect, equity, and grace, ideals that enable us to find the prosperity that we seek. We lift in prayer these city councilors, Mayor Donald Gorham, Mayor Pro Tem Harry Brown, Shannon Coates, Barbara Desjardins, William Hairston, William Martin, and Teresa Scoble. May they work together for the common goal of improving life for all in this city, finding paths through disagreement to support all who seek to make their life here. We lift up to all who work for the city, City Manager Summer Moore, Police Chief Ray Gibson, Fire Chief Josh Farmer, and all who tirelessly give of themselves to make our community better. May they continue in their work knowing the admiration and thanks the residents of the city have for them and for their work, even when it goes unexpressed. And may the citizens of this community use their voices to speak up when things need attention, to speak out when things need to change, and to work together to make it so. This we pray in the name of Jesus Christ, your Son, who has shown us that caring for the least among us leads to the path of success for all of us. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda as presented. You've all had an opportunity to take a look at the agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt?
The motion.
Second.
Adopt as is.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor raise your right hand. And we have the approval of the consent agenda. There are several items on. Does anyone like to pull one of those items? If not, do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Now we move to public hearings. First public hearing, consideration of a text amendment, Article 5, Section 2, Table of Permitted Uses to remove pool rooms and the 60% floor space requirement as permitted use from the table of the permitted uses, docket number T2025-03, enclosure 1, Drew. Well, you're faster than Jason.
Thank you, and members of City Council and City Manager Moore.
As you mentioned, staff is petitioning to amend Article 5, Section 2, the table of permitted uses of the Reidsville zoning ordinance, to remove pool rooms as a permitted use from the table of permitted uses, since they are included technically under the permitted use for indoor amusements. Currently, the ordinance only allows pool rooms in the general business and highway business districts, while indoor amusements are allowed in the general business, highway business, central business, and light industrial districts. This amendment will allow pool room type establishments to be located in the same districts as indoor amusements. Additionally, this amendment will remove the 60% floor space requirement for pool rooms, effectively allowing any business whose primary function is for the playing of billiards to be classified as an indoor amusement, regardless of the floor space that is being used for playing pool. The planning staff has received numerous inquiries from potential business owners who are looking to relocate their businesses here or open new pool room type establishments throughout the city. They've stated that our ordinance requirements for pool rooms are overly restrictive and out of date. Planning staff has researched the requirements for pool rooms in other jurisdictions, and it was found that no other municipality limits the location of such establishments just to their general or highway business commercial districts, as we currently do. Typically, pool rooms are allowable in all commercial districts, with the exception of those adjacent to residential development in some cases. For this reason, staff feels that it is appropriate to expand pool rooms as an indoor amusement into the central business district and the light industrial district, but we will keep it out of neighborhood business still. Furthermore, no other jurisdiction that staff has researched has a floor space limitation for pool rooms, and in an effort to encourage the redevelopment of existing commercial spaces, staff maintains the opinion that removing the 60% floor space requirement will encourage new indoor amusement type establishments, specifically those related to pool, to locate within Reidsville. This text amendment request is consistent with the Reidsville Land Development Plan under goal number 2 for a strong local economy. There is a considerable need for commercial development, including entertainment and other attractions within Reidsville. This amendment aligns with goal number 2 by removing regulatory barriers for commercial development and assists in addressing the need for a more diverse economy. By allowing pool rooms in the central business and light industrial districts, we can enhance the diversity of our downtown area and the areas adjacent to downtown, while making development in our established commercial districts more attractive to both developers and residents. For these reasons, the planning staff recommends the adoption of the proposed text amendment, and planning board voted unanimously that the amendment be approved. And if you have any questions, I'll take those now.
Any questions for Drew?
I have one question. So we're talking about changing it so that they will be allowed in central business and in light industrial,
Correct.
not highway business.
Well, they're already allowed in highway
Okay.
business. Yep, so we will be allowing them now in general business, highway business, central business, and industrial, light industrial. The only reason it's those 4 is because that's where indoor amusements are currently allowed. We didn't want pool rooms to continue to be a standalone use because, in essence, they are an indoor amusement. So we're just lumping them in with indoor amusements.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Drew.
Thank you.
We'll open the public hearing at 6:08. Is there anyone who'd like to speak for? This isn't public comment.
Yes, it is.
But this is for the text amendment.
Oh, I'm sorry, no,
The text
this is my
amendment.
first time here.
Text amendment. Is there anyone who'd like to speak for? Is there anyone who'd like to speak against? We'll close the public hearing at 6:09. What's the pleasure of council?
Make a motion to recommend the proposed text amendment, T 2025-03 be approved.
Okay, we have a motion. Second. And we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, thank you. Next, we have consideration of a text amendment to amend Article 5, Section 2, Table of Permitted Uses, and the notes to the table of permitted uses to allow alcohol establishments in all commercial districts with a reduced setback from schools and parks, and to remove alcohol establishments as an accessory use. Docket number T 2025-04, enclosure 2, and Drew again.
Thank you all again. So this is a multi-part text amendment. As you mentioned, we're petitioning to amend Article 5, Section 2, Table of Permitted Uses, and the notes to the Table of Permitted Uses of the Reidsville zoning ordinance. This particular amendment is for alcohol establishments in commercial districts, and then to remove accessory use for alcohol establishments. It doesn't need to be its own standalone use within the table. Let's see here. Currently, the ordinance only allows alcohol establishments in the central business district. This amendment would expand that to allow alcohol establishments in all commercial districts, which is central business, general business, highway business, and neighborhood business. Additionally, this amendment will reduce the setback for alcohol establishments from schools and public parks to 300 feet from 500 feet. Since alcohol establishments as an accessory use will be removed from the table, Note 42 will also be repealed from Article 5, Section 2, the notes to the Table of Permitted Uses. The planning staff has received feedback from the community stating that our ordinance requirements for alcohol establishments are again overly restrictive and have become a hindrance to economic development throughout the city. Planning staff has researched the requirements for alcohol establishments in other jurisdictions, and it was found that no other municipality limits alcohol establishments just to their downtown area. Typically, alcohol establishments are allowed in all commercial districts, so for this reason, staff feels that it is appropriate to expand alcohol establishments into the other commercial districts. Alcohol establishments include traditional bars, wine lounges, liquor halls, tasting rooms, and other establishments whose primary use is the selling and consuming of alcohol on premise. Microbreweries, distilleries, and wineries are not considered alcohol establishments under this ordinance, so it's just like your local neighborhood bars, wine tasting rooms, things like that. This text amendment request is consistent with the Reidsville Land Development Plan under goal number 2 for a strong local economy. There is a considerable need for commercial development in Reidsville, as we heard with the last amendment as well. This amendment aligns with goal number 2 by removing regulatory barriers for commercial development and assists in addressing a need for a more diverse economy and enhances the diversity of our established commercial areas. This amendment will help to make development more attractive to both investors and residents throughout the city. I also wanted to note that while the Reidsville Planning Board unanimously recommended that the text amendment be approved, they did express concerns about allowing alcohol establishments in the neighborhood business district. But we did not allow indoor amusements in the neighborhood business district. Staff contends that indoor amusements should be excluded from neighborhood business due to the nature of entertainment activities, which tend to involve large crowds, excessive noise, intense lighting, and a generally high-energy environment. It can be argued that alcohol establishments bring the same atmosphere. However, this is not inherently the case. Since our definition of alcohol establishments encompasses a variety of businesses, from traditional corner bars to tasting rooms, staff is not concerned about the potential for conflict between these types of establishments and residential areas. Likewise, neighborhood bars are common in several communities throughout the region, including Greensboro, Burlington, and Winston-Salem. Taking this into consideration, staff has decided to recommend that alcohol establishments be allowed in all commercial districts, including neighborhood business. For these reasons, staff has recommended that the text amendment be approved, and as I mentioned, Planning Board did unanimously vote to recommend it be approved as well. So I'll take questions.
Any questions, Drew? Okay, thank you, Drew. What is the pleasure of council? Well, public hearing. Public hearing will open at 6:14. Anyone who'd like to speak for? Anyone who'd like to speak against? Public hearing closes at 6:14. 14 seconds. What's the pleasure of council?
Mayor, I make a motion to recommend the proposed text amendment T202504 be approved.
We have a motion And a second from Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Next item will be public comments. The purpose of public comments, period, shall be to allow members of the public to present any matters pertaining to city business or items on the city council agenda. This period shall not serve as a forum for debate between speaker and the city council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes and may only speak once each meeting. Each speaker shall only make comments while at the podium after clearly stating his or her name and address, physical address. The topic must be something related to the business of Reidsville or something that the city council can have some influence or control over. Remarks shall be addressed to the city council and not to staff, the audience, or media. No remarks should be made on any matter pertaining to quasi-judicial hearings conducted by city council. Speakers will not be allowed to campaign for public office, promote private business ventures, or use language of personal nature, which insults or demeans any person, or which, when directed at a public official, is not related to his or her public duties. Action by City Council on topics raised under the public comment section should not be expected. Written comments may be accepted in lieu of oral statements and may be delivered personally or mailed to the clerk's office at 230 West Moorhead Street, Reidsville, North Carolina. Is there anyone who'd like to make a public comment on tonight?
My name is Robin Balderson. I'm from Witsett, North Carolina. I'm here to speak today about something that Willie Martin posted about me on Facebook. It was a malicious attack to defame my reputation and character as a Reidsville downtown business owner by sitting councilman Willie Martin. On August 18th, 2025, he commented on a downtown Facebook post while speaking in his capacity as a city councilman. Councilman Martin has never attended any meetings pertaining to my issues with the city or the county. The only person who sincerely tried to help me was Shannon Coates. I'll read the excerpt from Councilman Martin's comment pertaining to me. These are his words. Then they gave out thousands in grant money. Robin Balderson actually received about $25,000 of money to remodel her building. She then demanded the city and county pay her back the money she spent that was actually money the city gave her. I went through all the documents of her complaint, which she says I know nothing about. Why would the city reimburse her for a restroom the building inspector made her bring up to ADA code that the city then gave her grant money to do the project with, that she was not required or asked to pay back? You see, it's two sides to every story. I'll address these issues and comments at the next council meeting with documents backing it up. I never filed a formal complaint. Where are the supporting documents you say you have in your possession? He also included the city and the county in that statement. Not only is it non-factual, it's grotesquely false. If you actually search my name and Google on Facebook, that's the first thing that pops up is that comment. His lies will affect my livelihood and future endeavors for the rest of my business career. He's trying to make me look like a criminal when I simply followed the rules presented to me by the city. My grant total that I received was $6,420. The 1099 from the city was actually $6,381.97, which I have supporting documents. It is regrettable that I've had such a negative business experience with the city of Reidsville. It's the worst experience of my 39 years of being in business. I'm not here to discuss anything with the city or the county. I will say I would never tell anyone to open a business here. As a city councilman, Mr. Martin, you should be ashamed of yourself. This was willful, malicious, libel conduct that should never be accepted by any council member or city official who possess honest integrity. He should never have the ability to abuse his council seat to try to destroy someone's reputation for simply not agreeing with him. That's it.
Do we have anyone else who'd like to make a public comment on tonight? Okay.
Keith Duncan, 514 Perrington Circle, Reidsville. I'm a fairly new resident to Reidsville, but I really like living here, and feel like we made a good move. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mayor, and members of council, for the job you do. I've been in your shoes at the county for many years, so I know the sacrifice you make and the time it takes to represent the citizens of Reidsville and try to make Reidsville a better place to live. So thank you for your job you do. I know that you're going to be studying the UDO, or probably already started on the planning side for the future of Reidsville. I know it's been a long time since there's been any revisions made. And, you know, I have a background. I ran a construction public utility company for 40 years and retired. And for the last 5 years, I'm with a civil engineering firm, as many of you know. And also, I'd like to thank you for, you know, we recently bought 2 new I consider them to be large-scale projects to Reidsville for new housing. And I'd like to thank Summer and the planning staff for working with us to make that happen. And hopefully that construction will maybe start later this year or first of next year, as soon as all the reviews are done. We work in central North Carolina, represent large clients with the financial resources to make some of these projects happen. Reidsville has started attracting their interest, as we saw with our last 2 clients. We have some more that are inquiring about property here to build new homes. And I'm just not talking about 5 or 6 homes, you know, we're talking about anywhere from 50 to 100 homes. The UDO is very important to them. We see different regulations throughout different counties, states, and municipalities throughout North Carolina. And they can vary compared to where you are, the climate of the region you're working in, the population. Some are more strict than others. But I've looked at some of the planning issues in Reidsville over the past, and I think we can make them a whole lot better. And we would like to, I know it's going to be a time to discuss that later, but we have some ideas we'd like to discuss with you about the street width and low density areas versus curb and gutter or ribbon pavement, and maybe looking at some of the materials required for public utilities that are approved by AWWA standards, which is the sort of the Bible for public utilities, where it could save the investor money and time, because materials are still hard to get due to all the things we experienced during COVID. And another thing too, a lot of issues we've run into where some of the projects have been approved with phased construction. I'll catch you next time. Thank
Do we have anyone else who, okay. Yes, sir.
This may have already been covered, but item C on the consent agenda is for Freedom Academy. We are a private Christian school here in Reidsville. We're currently located at the Growing Oaks campus out on 158 West, and we are voluntarily offering to annex ourselves into the city with your blessing for a property that we purchased at 3114 Vance Street Extension. We have outgrown the school building that we are currently in, and for the last several months have been looking and prayerfully considering a piece of property. We were able to purchase a property located there on Vance Street. It was 21 acres, and then additionally, we bought an additional 9 acres from Covington Wesleyan Church. So this annexation really has everything to do with just the safety of our students. City response times for fire and police are very important to us, as you can well imagine. And so that is what we are petitioning ourselves to be annexed in for. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
This is public comments. We don't do any exchange.
Great. Thank you. Clint Walker.
Don Powell. I live at 356 Fawcett Road. I own a business here, Powell and Associates, a general contracting firm located at 1315 Freeway Drive. Gentlemen, thank you, and ladies, thank you for your service to the city. I had to have sat in a seat similar to yours, so I understand the awesome responsibility that you have to the citizens of Reidsville. I too wanted to make some comments about the UDO and growth. It was refreshing to hear in the prior presentations the need for commercial growth. In order to understand growth, I think we have to understand demographics. And 2 years ago, there was a mental health study done that showed that in Rockingham County, which includes Reidsville, of course, there were more people over the age of 60 than there were under the age of 18. That's a problem for a community that wishes to grow and prosper. We know that our children that graduate high school at the age of 18, if they go to college, most of them do not return to this area to live. And the reason for that is because of the lack of resources here for them. And that's the demographic group that we need to be working on attracting. One of those things is affordable housing. And affordable housing is everything from the price of materials and the price of labor to the restrictions placed on developers and individuals building in the city of Reidsville. As you look at your UDO, please look at those restrictions, particularly the land clearing ones, the curb and gutter, because they add a significant cost in one sense to a project, but they also deprive landowners from cashing in on crops such as their timber, which is a commodity just like wheat or corn or anything else is. Also, in targeting this growth, it helps the city to increase your tax base, which increases your tax dollars and can decrease the tax rate for the citizens that live here. We are expecting, based on information that I have received, that the Triad area will outperform the national average in growth by 25% in the next 10 years. So Reidsville's sitting in a good position. We're sitting 20 minutes from Greensboro, 20 minutes from Danville. We have money sitting at the county now to be used for water services. I was able to help secure that when I was a county commissioner. And so just would like to see us be able to change the UDO to make it easier to do business in Reidsville. And in addition, see if we can cut the time from the time an idea is born until we break ground. Sometimes it's 2 years. And so that's not all in the city's hands, but anything that we can do to speed up that process certainly helps us, because the economy runs in 20-year cycles. 5 years on the upswing, 5 years at the peak, 5 years on the downswing, and 5 years in recession. And so if it takes 2 years to get a project ready, then if we're starting into that peak season of our economy, then we only have 3 years left to capitalize on it. Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment?
I'd have to follow a polished speaker like that with no teleprompter. I'm Mark Hinkle. I grew up in Reidsville. I live in Oak Ridge now, but I own multiple businesses here in town. And I'm here to speak about the UDO as well for commercial development. As an avid outdoorsman, I love nature and the environment. I don't like to see trees cut any more than anyone else does, but in a commercial corridor like Freeway Drive, in a town that desperately needs new energy, we have to balance that love of outdoors with the reality of bringing investment and growth back to Reidsville. If it wasn't for leaders like Tom Holderby and his commitment to the community, we'd have trees growing right up through the Penrose Mall. I said that story's a warning. Without making it easier to invest, we'll watch our commercial areas fade away. That's why I, along with my partners, have stepped up We own 4 parcels on Freeway Drive and have had multiple regional and national food service businesses approach me directly about building here. They want to be in Reidsville, but they need sites that are cleared, graded, and ready to build. And under the current UDO, the requirement for full building site plans just to clear trees makes that impossible. These companies move quickly, and if we can't deliver, they go elsewhere. I've had 2 companies personally reach out to me for a cleared, ready site, only to walk away because of the delay and the red tape. They need to be able to move quickly, and they prefer locations where some of that uncertainty is already removed. I'm not just speaking as a landowner. I'm also the new co-owner of a fitness center here in town. We purchased it so Reidsville wouldn't lose yet another business. We also have plans to revitalize a building in the Depot District and bring other businesses and activities to the area. We're putting our money, time, and energy into making Reidsville stronger. But we need your help. We don't want to be made fools for stepping up, investing in this city. And we want to be part of a community we can all be proud of, one that welcomes responsible growth while still respecting the environment we love. This change would make Reidsville more competitive, attract quality businesses, and turn vacant parcels into tax-producing properties. Please consider changing the UDO so we can prepare sites responsibly and attract the businesses eager to locate here. Let's give Reidsville the chance to grow again. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight? Public comments.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, City Manager, and City staff.
Could you give us your name, address?
My name's Frank Verdi, and I am proud to be a part of the Reidsville community. I live at 205 Lachey Drive in Reidsville. I would like to start by saying thank you. Thank you to each of you for not only the opportunity to speak to you this evening, but thank you specifically for your sacrificially giving, for your time, and the benefit and betterment of our community. About 25 years ago, after my time in the military, I decided to pursue a career in the real estate, development, and construction industry. I was very excited at that time to come back to the place I called home and then where I was raised. This excitement quickly dimmed as I learned of all the obstacles and challenges presented by the city with seemingly no other explanation other than that's just the way it's always been. These hurdles ultimately, pushed me to invest in other markets that welcomed outsiders with open arms. With those ventures concluding and a young family at home, I've decided to refocus my business efforts back in this area, in this city that I love and continue to call home. I will admit I've been surprised and somewhat saddened to learn of the many old policies, procedures, and obstacles were still in place with no explanation other than it's just the way it's always been. In conclusion, my request and challenge to each of you would be to this governing body would be not only to hear the citizens' concerns as it relates to the UDO clear-cutting policies, mandatory curb and gutter, as well as other real estate development policies, but please consider taking positive action to further the progress and growth of these activities for this city for many years to come. Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak before council public comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Consideration of a resolution by governing body of applicant to apply for funding for the Forest Drive Pump Station Replacement Project. Enclosure 3, Assistant City Manager Chris Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was observing the meeting so far from the lobby, and I want to give a shout out to Sherelle Williams and her team, Gilbert and Steve. They saw a need and put a speaker in the lobby, so when we do have overflow audience, they can hear better what's going on in here, and it's working great. So we appreciate you taking care of that problem. What I'm here to talk to you tonight about is applying for a grant. As you all know, with the growth that is planned here in Reidsville, that we did some assessment and realized that the Forest Drive pump station is the biggest bottleneck part of our sewer system that we need to address before the growth gets here. And so we've had some engineering done and an estimate of about $2.5 million to expand the size of the Forest Drive pump station. So tonight, I'm asking you to pass a resolution to allow us to apply for grants or loans with the state. So the state has a funding cycle that applications are due in September. And to be able to apply, we have to have a resolution from you all saying that you approve us applying for the grant. This doesn't in any way commit us to a grant or a loan, depending on how it comes back. And these are competitive, so there's no guarantee that we'll get anything. It all matters who applies and how much money they have to go around. But we can't apply without you all approving this resolution. If we are lucky enough to get a grant or a loan, a low interest loan, if it is a loan, we'll have to come back to you for you to accept the grant or loan. So that'll be another step in the process. But tonight, I'm just asking you all to consider approving this resolution by a governing body to apply for a loan or grant.
Any questions of Chris? What's the pleasure of council?
I make a motion that the city council approve the resolution to apply for state grant and/or loan funding for the Forest Drive pump station replacement project.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item of new business, consideration of Lake Reidsville RV and tent camping policy and amended fees, enclosure 4. Assistant City Manager Haywood Cloud.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Moore, I am before you to discuss item 9B. As you all know, you all approved funding at the beginning of the year, and work has been done at Lake Reidsville to provide some physical upgrades, and we've gotten plenty of compliments about those things. So when we did that work, staff also decided to look at the current camping policy. We did have one in place, and so we thought with all these upgrades, let's look at enhancing it and make it a little better. And so we've added a few things to it. And so as you can see in your packet, everything from what time you can check in to how many cars you can have. There are a number of things that were some gray areas that people were complaining about or asking about. And so this policy will now make those things a little more clear when someone comes in to rent a campsite. They'll have to sign this document that they understand it. And so that's just going to provide a little more clarity. The other piece to that was we also looked at our fees, and you all as a governing body, when we talked about it as staff with you all, about raising some of those rates. And that's what we did starting, and those fees went into effect on July 1st, 2025. And so we have received a lot of feedback from visitors to Lake Reidsville about the prices were a little high. And so much like what happens in government, you all hear your constituents and you go back and look and you direct staff, hey, look, let's see what we can do to maybe adjust some of those. And so our manager received the directive, and then she passed that on to us. And so what we have here in the memo is some proposed reduction to some of those prices. As you can see here, again, starting July 1, a current standard site for city residents, we raised from $28 to $50. And then for a non-city, we raised it from $35 to $75. And so now we're proposing that standard site go to $35 for city and $50 for non-city. And then as you can see here for our Lakeview and Lakefront, and if you can see on your map, Lakeview are they're the lots further south that's right on the lake, and then the ones just north of those we're considering Lakeview. That's what we're calling Lakeview. And so Lakeview and Lakefront are 40 for city residents and 55 for non-city. We also decided that after speaking with some of you all about looking at weekly rates. And so now we're proposing, now that's new. That wasn't in effect before July 1 or since July 1, but this is something new, and we were looking at everything that we could possibly do here. So we're proposing that weekly rate for city residents are $210, and for for the Lakeview and Lakefront, $245, and then for the standard sites for non-city, $315, and for Lakeview, Lakefront for non-city, $350. And so we listened to what you all said, and staff met multiple times to talk about this, and now we're bringing it before you to make a decision on what you all want to do.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Cloud?
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Please. So with this change, when would these rates go into effect?
Tonight.
Okay.
I mean, if you all vote for it. If you don't, if you say no, then what's already here will stay in. But we'll begin the process of updating the website with the prices and talking to staff on site about putting up the new rates. So it will be done effective immediately.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Under these prices, you'll still be able to cover all the maintenance and everything that's going on out there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? What is the pleasure of council?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the updated Lake Reidsville campground policy and updated fee changes effective immediately.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Mr. Cloud, you might as well stay up here. Consideration of Parks and Recreation ball field rental policy, enclosure 5. Mr. Cloud.
Thank you. So over the years, we've had just kind of word of mouth policy of what it costs or what you have to do to be able to rent our fields. You have to call on Monday, and everybody be rushing to call and see who first come, first served. So we thought we need to put something in writing. And again, when someone wants to rent, to have them sign it. So that's essentially what we're doing here, just putting something in writing so there's no confusion about the rules. It's clear and concise. And we are now adding a $25 rental policy.
Yeah.
Before, it was the only time we charged anyone for renting if they had to use the lights. But it became so competitive, and so, not that we're charging you, but, you know, as Councilwoman DeJohnette just talked about paying for staff and all those other things, this is just right along the line with that. And it's $25, so that's been added, but you can see in the policy of what we're trying to do there, and to have them sign it just so it's clear and concise and they know what's expected of them, when they're supposed to call, how much time they have to use it, the season in which they could use it. And so you have that before you, and so we just thought we'd put that in writing now and make it official.
And the $25 is per hour, right?
Yes.
Is that what that,
Yeah.
$25 an hour?
Yes, it is. With a minimum 1 hour rental.
And this is primarily for city leagues, but what about anybody outside the city that wants to rent?
That's for everybody, just rent any of our fields, whether it be baseball or, you know, any of the other fields. That's why we just call it ball rental and not just baseball.
Okay.
How do we deal with liability in case of accidents?
I guess the way we've always have. I think it's with that, I guess I wouldn't. Yeah, so.
So we provide the insurance for anybody that rents from us?
I don't think we provide insurance. It's just if something happens, we'll deal with it as it, on the policy.
But they understand when they rent the field that they are responsible for any accidents that may happen.
I think that's understood, but I think that would be something that we probably could add to it. I think it's understood, but I don't see any problem with adding it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Any other questions? What's the favor of council?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the Parks and Recreation Department's new ball field policy as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Good. Thank you, Mr. Cloud. Consideration of amendment to the City Council's rules of procedures related to time limits for public hearings. Enclosure 6. City Manager, Summer Moore.
So what you have before you tonight, after receiving feedback from City Council, there appears to be a desire to set a time limit for speakers during advertised public hearings. Rule 28A in Suggested Rules of Procedure for City Council by Fleming Bell allows governing boards to set time limits for public hearings. The city clerk is also checked with the UNC School of Government, which concurs that such time limits are enforceable. If council so desires to do this, the motion, if favorable, would be to amend the City Council Rules of Procedures to include a maximum 5-minute time limit for each speaker that signs up to speak for a public hearing. Speakers may allot their time to other speakers. If this is something you don't wish to do, then you would just leave your rules of procedure as is. But again, this would be for public hearings because currently there is no time limit for those to speak for or against. Nothing to do with public comment, that's still 3 minutes, but this would tackle public hearings if this is your desire to set the 5-minute time limit.
Any questions of the city manager?
Just for curiosity, at any time during public hearings in the past, have we had a problem that we needed to address regarding time limits?
I would defer to council. I know that you guys have had some rather lengthy city council meetings where
We've had some lengthy public hearings.
The one thing that can be discouraging for citizens is you may have one group or one organization that allots all the time, which then I've noticed that it can discourage others who've set for an hour to 2 hours to where they no longer wish to speak because they're either exhausted or they have places to go. So to me, this, based on what other cities do and other counties, this gives a fair opportunity for all, where it doesn't allow the opportunity for one individual, one group, one developer to dominate the entire public hearing.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, what's the pleasure of council? Got two motions, two prepared motions. One in favor and one that's not in favor.
Make a motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion in favor to amend the city council rules of procedure to include a maximum 5-minute limit for each speaker that signs up to speak for a public hearing. The speakers may allot their time to other speakers.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Board and commission appointments. Consideration of September appointments. Historic Preservation Commission, Human Relations Commission, and Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission, enclosure 7. We have Ms. Marjorie Holt for the Historic Preservation Commission. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion to appoint.
To appoint.
Okay. And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Human Relations Commission. Ms. Anna Roach.
I make a motion, sir, in favor.
I second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Parks and Recreation. Ezekiel Gilly.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve,
Second.
and we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, thank you. Next, we have City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Well, I'm very excited to see that there's some interest in our Unified Development Ordinance, our UDO, tonight, because your opportunity as the public, whether you're a citizen, a resident, developer, anyone, we encourage you to attend next Tuesday. It's called Java and Jargon, Making Sense of the UDO. This event will be September 16th at 8:30 a.m. at the Carriage House. If you would, Montana, Drew, Diane, if you're here, will you raise your hand? If you're interested in attending, please just see one of these three individuals. They can go ahead and get you registered. It's a free event, free of charge. We're just trying to get a head count for food, but this is a great opportunity for our citizens, our developers to hear where we are with the UDO, where we're going, and getting input from each of you. So please, anything, some of the topics we heard tonight that you want to discuss or bring to our attention, that's a great platform, because that was the purpose in having Java and Jargon, is to continue to get this input as we move forward with looking at our UDO. The UDO is not finalized. There's drafted chapters that have been done. A draft is not complete. There's still several chapters that have to be revised and looked at. So this is a great opportunity for that public input. So please, if you're interested, attend next Tuesday, September 16th, 8:30 a.m. at the Carriage House. And I think we've got it scheduled to go to about 11:15. So get you in and out, but I think it'll be a great opportunity to hear from you as the public and hear from us as the city staff of where we're at with the UDO. Mayor and Council, the only other thing in my report, I would ask that our Economic Development Director and City Marketing Director, Montana Brown, come forward. I would like him to give you an update on the social district, because we unveiled that and actually went live last Thursday. So Montana, if you'll give Council an update on the social district.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening, City Council, Mayor Gorham, Madam Manager. It's a pleasure to see y'all this evening. As Mrs. Summermore said, the downtown Reidsville Social District went into effect last week on Thursday. As a reminder, the social district will be in effect Thursdays through Sundays from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. each week. Street boundary stamps were put down at every possible entrance and exit points about 2 weeks ago from Rippey's Advertising Answers. We have ordered additional signage to place throughout the social district and are currently awaiting a special piece that will allow us to place these signs on the electric poles throughout downtown. That sign will include the logo as well as a QR code that people can scan that will take you to the Rise Up Reidsville website that's built for the social district, where it shows the map, it shows the rules. It's a place where businesses can go to register, as well as it will show every business that is registered to be a part of the social district. So it's just an easy place to go and see where you can go. So far as businesses registered for serving, we have Lucky City Brewing, Leaf and Teller, which is an event center, and Bella V as well. I've also spoken with La Boca Loca, and once their move is complete, they also intend to establish an ABC license and then join the social district as well. As far as participating businesses, which are the businesses that are planning to be a part of the social district but will not be serving alcohol, we have A. Nicole's Jewelry, Scale Street Music, the Boardwalk Baker, the Old Corner Store, and also a couple others that are still currently considering it. I'm not going to name them right now, but there are several that have reached out and are currently contemplating it. We've also spoken with several new businesses that were actually attracted after you all passed the social district. I guess it's been a couple of months now that we're interested in downtown specifically because you all voted to establish a social district. So hopefully that will help us fill some of these vacant storefronts. Just want to remind you, the social district isn't going to be a cure-all for any of our problems. It's going to take a little bit of time to ramp up. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, you don't want a huge influx of businesses and people without us really, fully grasping everything that it's going to entail as far as, trash downtown, more people downtown, parking, things of that nature. So I think a slow ramp up really is going to be what's best for it, and that's what we're going to have. And that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, you can ask me anytime.
Will you once again tell us the businesses that will be participating and serving?
Yes, ma'am. More than happy to. So businesses that are serving, we have Lucky City Brewing, Leaf and Teller. The event center will also be participating, as well as Bella V. And La Boca Loco also intends to serve. Currently signed up to participate is A. Nicole's Jewelry, Scale Street Music, Boardwalk Baker, in the Old Corner Store.
Celtic Fringe did not sign up?
No, ma'am. They have not currently signed up. Still working on talking with them.
Great, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Montana. Really appreciate that.
Certainly.
Mayor
Thank you.
and Council, that concludes my report.
Next thing on the agenda is council members' reports. But if it's okay with council, I understand Diane has to leave, will need to leave early. So if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to give her an opportunity to give her a report.
And Miss Diane, I have your handout, so I'm going to go ahead and pass those down.
Thank you so much.
I can't forget you if I do it that way.
Mayor, council, city manager, thank you all for the opportunity to just give you a few announcements. I've been registering people while I'm sitting in the audience. So if you are planning to attend the Jot and Jargon, we would like to have your registration, please. So I have registered a few folks while we're sitting there. Really excited about this. We have finalized all of the details. I do encourage folks to really consider coming. There's going to be a lot of great information. I'm a visual learner, so I have asked that we specifically have things where not only can people hear, they can read, they can see, they can touch. I know the council will be on hand. There will be members on hand to answer questions. And we are also, as the MC, I have a list of questions for our panelists. And we also have the gentleman that we're working with on the UDO will be doing a presentation and an overview, but my favorite part is your city manager is going to be doing a little fact versus fiction, which is very informative. And every time we meet, I learn something new. So I really encourage people, this is really an educational thing, and I encourage people to attend and hear what's being discussed. So enough about that. I want to move on to a couple of other things. This Friday is the deadline for the Everything Expo and Ignite Conference being held by the Chamber. This is the 16th year of us having some form of a business showcase or expo. Really excited about this year's format. It is not only a vendor expo where you can have times during the day to see booths and to hear from companies. It is sold out. There are about 55 vendors who are going to be participating and companies, but also it is a conference, and we will have 4 breakout session slots throughout the day. I'm at about 20 speakers right now, including your city manager and many other business owners and folks who are experts from all over our community about anything from being an entrepreneur to workforce development. We have some marketing, social media branding. So I'm very excited about this. The booth piece is sold out, but until this Friday, you can attend as an individual for a $40 ticket for the full day to get your meals and your conference piece. So that is happening. See me if you want to get registered for that. Also, we have a Carolina Bank is hosting an after hours to celebrate the renovations in their lobby. I don't know if you've been by there and seen that, but that is going to be on October the 7th at 4 p.m. And then we have a couple of ribbon cuttings come up. One of my most favorites. I'm very excited about Reidsville Par 2. One of the things that we hear is that we don't have things for families. We don't have things for young people to do. There's nothing, that keeps people's interest. So I beg of you, go out and support it. So we're having a ribbon cutting for them. They are open. It is September the 18th at 9 a.m. I expect to see lots of pictures of folks out there supporting them. Tate's Pumpkin Patch is also having a ribbon cutting, and that is on September the 19th at noon. We have several new members. It's a long list. I'm not going to go through all that tonight for the sake of time, but our next Coffee and Connections in October will be hosted by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Division of Employment and Independence for People with Disabilities. You're welcome. I was able to get all of that and not mess it up. That is on the first Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. We will be leaving there and we'll be going to the county's Envision Expo, which is all day that Thursday and that Friday. We really need volunteers. This is the event for 7th and 10th graders that the County Economic Development Office hosts in partnership with the chambers and the college and several other businesses. It's crucial for these students to get out and see what the opportunities are to keep our young people here and to show them what the opportunities are for the early college, for the CTE school, for RCC when they finish, and what people are doing for careers right here in Rockingham County. So they still need vendors for that. They ask that there's a live activity, but also we need volunteers to help herd the students through. So if anybody would like to do that, you can talk to Morgan McKinney at the Economic Development Office. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you for letting me go. I appreciate I have a sick child. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diane. We'll start our reports with our Mayor Pro Tem. We're glad to have him back. You might want to say a few words.
I just want to thank the City of Reidsville, staff, and all of you for the cards and the flowers that you sent me during the last couple of months. It touched my heart. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Coates.
Mayor, on August 13th, I appeared on the Chamber of Commerce News and Views with Diane. On the 14th, had a meeting with the Revitalized Reidsville Committee here at City Hall. Had the 2-on-2 meetings on the 18th. And then met with several citizens during this month and spoke to them on, they had some concerns and issues, and then later met with the city manager and passed those on, which she began to address those, and that would include my report.
Councilwoman Barbara Desjardins.
Well, I'd just like to say I wasn't able to attend much this month because of an illness, but I will be back out there. So, and Diane, just want to let you know that the Chamber has done a wonderful job of preparing everything for the expo.
Councilwoman Scoble.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going to mention a few things. 2-on-2 with the mayor and the city manager on the 18th. Kiwanis on the 21st, where we had a speaker from Camp Carefree. The RDC board meeting on the 26th. And I was very excited about the social district beginning, so I went around and checked out the sidewalk signs and the boundary signs, and that's great. And I think that's going to be great for Reidsville, and it's going to bring us a lot of new opportunities.
Okay. Councilman Martin.
So I don't have a report, but I'd like to make a couple of comments. One about the public comment section tonight, as well as my comments on social media. First, I would like to apologize to one of my colleagues for mentioning his name in the Facebook post. Those of you who know me know that I'm passionate and driven by the development of the city of Reidsville. Those of you that attend these meetings hear the things that I say. But not only that, I hold accountability to myself, to staff, as well as the public. And if you say things about the staff, they must be true. Or if you say things about council, they must be true. Because it cannot be a one-sided street when you consistently bash the city out. We've worked tirelessly to change our UDO. As you see, a lot of people came here tonight to speak on behalf of these actions, and we're having the Java and jargon. However, I will not sit by idly when we are trying to make progress and move forward and let people speak in a negative impact that is not true. Because such actions of that puts a black eye on the city and makes it harder to get investors to want to continue to do business here or get new businesses. I myself own several businesses here, parcels of property, and I am the co-owner who purchased the CrossFit with Mr. Hinkle because it was going out of business, and I understand the importance of keeping things here to attract new growth. So yes, the statements that Ms. Balderson read on Facebook, I did say those statements. But there were many statements prior to that in a communication back and forth between me and her, where originally I asked her to not make such negative comments and let's work together for the betterment of the city. Those comments were then expressed to me that I was part of an old show that was continuing to be and run about the same way. At that point in time, I made statements about the progress that we have made and what we have worked on to yet continue to have staff, myself, and the rest of the council to be belittled of non-factual information. I felt compelled at that time to then address the statements that she made, which puts a negative impact on the city government, the city manager, and the council who have been over to help people. And yes, I did make a statement about the grant money received. Yes, she was forced to put a bathroom in by a previous building inspector. She did receive $3,750 towards that. And she turned in receipts and invoices and so forth. So there's two sides. She has a side, the city has a side, which I wasn't on council then. However, I've had many conversations with the city manager, the county manager in the past to resolve her situation, which has been able to be unresolved. These documents are public record. The emails and the many emails back and forth from the county, the tax department, and the many people to assist in those. So I will say that I apologize again if I said something that offended my colleagues, but I will not apologize for my passion for the development of this community, nor will I let someone not give credit where credit's due. Staff, council, and especially staff constantly receive ridicule because of the amount of time that we're moving forward to try to make things better and attract businesses. So we are in a time crunch. This staff here that works for the city receives no greater fussing, for lack of a better term, or preaching from me due to my passion to immediately make these changes, many of which were talked about tonight: clear cutting, mandatory curb and gutter, and redundant engineering reviews and so forth. I don't apologize for those, and those who know me know I do get a little hot-headed and know sometimes I may say words that I shouldn't say. But unlike many people here and in there, a lot of people do the same thing, but I'm willing and man enough to accept and own my responsibilities the way I may talk, but I do not apologize for my passion in trying to make Reidsville grow. I campaigned on it, I ran on it, and I promised on it, and I will continue to do that, and I will continue to defend staff when they're right. I will continue to hold them accountable when they're wrong, and I expect staff to do the same to me as well as the general public. So it's important that people know there's a piece of what I said, not the entirety of the story. Thank you.
Councilmember Harrison.
No report.
Okay. I'll mention just a few stops that I made. I was at a community cookout at Glendale Park on Roanoke Street, which was sponsored by the Community Policing Department for Reidsville PD. I attended the Reside in Reidsville at Market Square. I also attended the 2-on-2 meetings at City Hall, Planning Board meeting, Kiwanis Club meeting, Community Watch meeting of the Historical District at the RPD, Community Watch meeting at Woodland Park, the RDC meeting at City Hall, ribbon cutting at La Boutique downtown Reidsville, the Chamber Coffee at the Reidsville YMCA, and I also attended a very special reunion at Lake Reidsville on this past Saturday of the American Tobacco Company group. People who have worked at American Tobacco Company, they get together once a year and they have a big cookout and just a family gathering. And it really touched my heart to see them there. Still thinking about the old American Tobacco Company. And I was telling them that the American Tobacco Company has a lot to do with the beautification and the growth of Reidsville. And it still does because those people are still here. That's my report. Next, we'll be moving to the first floor conference room for a closed session to discuss items under attorney-client privilege pursuant to NCGS 143-318-11A3. We will not be returning to the council chambers, and we do appreciate you all being here tonight and supporting your city council. We need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
We got a motion?
Second.
And we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you all for coming out.